one nation did free itself from European control. But ironically, this only further weakened the region's connection to its past. In 1919, a former Ottoman officer named Mustafa Kemal Pasha, or Ataturk as he later came to be known, launched a war of liberation and founded the modern state of Turkey. But Ataturk did not seek to revive the Islamic empire of the Ottomans.
Ataturk is possibly the most successful modernizer in not just the Arab world, but in recent history. Here's a guy who takes the Ottoman Empire as it is ruined and carves out from it a great nation. And he does it by recognizing that in order to be a modern country, you have to turn your back on the past, and you have to learn from the West. Ataturk shamelessly borrowed from the West.
In a series of sweeping reforms, Ataturk changed the written language of Turkey, replacing Arabic script with Roman letters, and imposed Western rules of dress and equality for women.
He said, "Our most urgent task today is to catch up with the modern world. We will not catch up with the modern world if we only modernize half the population." Simple, clear, and I think overwhelmingly convincing.
Ataturk also shocked many Muslims by separating religion and politics, displacing the Sharia, the holy law which governed almost every aspect of Muslim life, and abolishing the Caliphate, the official leadership position in Sunni Islam since the death of the Prophet Muhammad.
Imagine if Mussolini had eliminated the Vatican, forced Italians to write in the Arabic script instead of the Roman script, and forced them to dress in Arab clothing. How would the Catholics have felt?
He declared Turkey is a secular republic. There is no state religion. He went even further. He prohibited the teaching of religion in the schools. He prohibited the wearing of religious dress outside the places of worship. It was a very determined effort to secularize society to something which had never happened before in a Muslim country, and still hasn't happened in more than a very few.
Repercussions of Ataturk's reforms are still felt, particularly his abolition of the Caliphate.
You cannot understand the rise of Islamist politics and Islamist groups without understanding their basic quest and longing to restore the Caliphate, because they believe without the Caliphate, Islam cannot be full in society.
For Islamic fundamentalists, Ataturk is a kind of Satan, a very dangerous figure, because he is someone who admired the West, copied it. But most of all, what galls the Islamic fundamentalists about Ataturk in Turkey is that it is successful. It is successful in combining an Islamic society with modernity, a Middle Eastern society with pro-Western foreign policy, all the things that they claim are impossible, Turkey has been able to do.
Turkey has proved to be a unique nation within the Middle East, as Ataturk's vision was rejected by most of the region. Faced with the challenges of modernity, many look to religion, not secularism. In the 1920s, the Arabian Peninsula was unified by a powerful family, the House of Saud, allied with clerics espousing a traditional version of Islam. And in Egypt, modern ideas were attacked by a large underground movement.
In the early 20th century, Egyptians began to expose themselves to Western intellectual thought, Marxism, feminism, evolutionary theory, even atheism were discussed publicly in the cafes of Cairo. But by the 1920s, thanks to anti-colonial rhetoric and pressures for Arabs to band together in solidarity against the West, these questions faded to a whisper. And at that time, what you saw was the emergence of Al-Qaeda's predecessor, the Muslim Brotherhood.